Hi, Gary Levine, number 17, quarterback, defensive halfback, co-captain. I have three quick memories. I'm in junior high school, seventh grade, and my gym teacher, Irv Apgar, calls me into his office, and he says, Gary, we need leaders like you on the high school football team. Thanks, coach, for seeing something in me that I probably wasn't seeing in myself. 10th grade, JV football. We lost our first game to Bethpage. The only game I ever lost as a starting quarterback. I'm sitting by the pool in despair, in tears, and Coach Walt Brem comes out, sits down next to me, puts his arm around me, and says, Gary, 7-1 is not a bad record. Coach, we did win the remaining 7 games. Thanks for having faith in us. I'm in 12th grade. I'm in Coach Snyder's office. We're going over a game plan. And I said to him, Coach, I said, this year is so special. What are you doing differently? And he said, Gary, we're not doing anything differently. I have the players. It's always about the players. Coach, a great, great big lesson in dignity and humility. Thank you for that. These people and more have left an indelible mark on me that have lasted a lifetime. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Pat Nicholson here, number 35, co-captain of the Farmingdale Dallas, of the great undefeated Dallas from 1971 and number 1 in New York State. And from my understanding, we're still the only ones to ever do that, which is an accomplishment that can only be said that we were the best. And we were very fortunate to have a great coaching staff and a couple of players, Tommy Regan and Jerome Williams is not going to be with us at the reunion. They have passed, and I believe a couple other guys have passed, but I'm not too sure about the names there. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that did all the recruiting and did all the great work of getting us here, because it's a great accomplishment with that. And 50 years went so fast, and it's amazing that we're here, and the high school doesn't look anything like it looked with the dirt that we had. Thanks, guys.
We're good to go. All right, Coach. Thanks for taking the time to meet with us. And I'm going to give a little background. This is an article that Bill Travers, he was like one of the top high school sports writers in the area. And I went and got this from the article, and it said here, the Dallas offense will be returning from last season's 6-2 season. All-county running back Jerome Williams, veteran backs Pat Nicholson, Richie Finn, Gary Levine, who is replacing Stewart at quarterback, Bill Goodmove DeRuve is moving to flanker, Tony DeAnge and Huck Finn as the ends. The O-line will be anchored by Elliott Warner, juniors George Karabaris, Joe Pachovich, including halfback Jim Tatum from the undefeated junior varsity team. The Dallas should be able to compete for the Nassau County Championship, opening their season this week against Syosset. So, going into the start of that season, did you have expectations? Did you think we were going to be as good as we ended up being? What did you think about the start of that season?
I thought, we had a pretty good team. We could, they stayed close all the way through the game, that we would possibly could get it more points than the other team.
That's always
That's
the goal,
always that's
right?
always good.
So, Syosset?
So Syosset was defending champs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They were loaded,
Yeah. Right.
and we were kind of unknown going in there. I mean,
Right,
Gary never played starting quarterback, right? So that was his first game.
Yep.
A lot of the juniors from the JV team, we came in, we were untested. We didn't really know how we would perform against it. And we went in, it was obviously an incredible defensive battle, since we only won 6-0.
Yeah.
And so if you could think back 50 years, which is like yesterday for you, 50 years, do you kind of remember the approach to that game coming in? Did you think we had a shot at beating them?
I thought if we, could, not have any errors, if you will,
Right.
that we could possibly win the game.
Were you,
Get more points than they did.
as your philosophy going into it, were you more of like, did you lean on the defense more, or do you think we were going to put up more points than just 6 points? What did you think? Because we had a couple of preseason scrimmages.
Yeah.
And
Well, I thought we, defensively, we'd be able to hold them, if you will.
Yeah.
And we just try to get the ball more often than they,
Yeah,
and we score more points.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, we had Jerome.
And we
We had
yeah,
Jerome, which was a pretty good weapon to have.
Yes,
Right?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You know.
My name is Irv Apgar. I coached at Farmingdale for 37 years, and I was very proud to coach a 1971 football team, which was undefeated, ranked #1 in New York State, and won the Rutgers Cup.
Any good memories from that time?
Oh, great memories. The kids it was a fantastic year. The kids were real coachable. They were tough. They were intelligent, and it was a lot of fun to be with them.
Would you, any good memories of Jerome?
Jerome was an outstanding football player. He was at 160, what these guys are now at 220, 230, but he could do everything. I also want to say that the 1971 team set the standard for the rest of the years to come, because Farmingdale stayed good and are still good in football, and I think that was one of the reasons why, for the standard they set in 1971.
How long were the three of you coaches together? You,
It's
and
34
Coach
years.
Mulligan. Right. So Coach Mulligan can't be with us. Any words on Coach Mull?
Coach Mo was a great
Yeah.
He was the Bagman song, and the kids loved to have him on the bus and singing on the way home. And he was a real good defensive end coach, and he always sided with me against Snyder.
Coach, what do you think? Just going into that Burner game, did you guys have any doubt that you were going to be competitive and that we should be able to win, or do you think there was?
I think if we hadn't funneled 6 times, we would have won by a lot more score than that.
Yeah.
And I can't say what I know about, but there was a fumble with 4 minutes to go. That play was called. That caused the fumble for them to get down to the 2-yard line. And I switched out of. We were in a 6-2, and I switched into a 7-1, and Elliot Warner became a hero.
There we go. And Elliot thanks you to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Billy Beluski cutting down Meyer when he broke for a long run. I think he caught him
Yep.
on a 40-yard on a third.
Now, Coach, let me just remind you, if Pat Nicholson didn't fumble that ball, I remember getting that interception before. I could have been somebody.
But I know we fumbled 6 times, which was
Right.
Yeah, we were seeing that. We like, how did we ever win that game, right?
Well, if I remember too, we scrimmaged them right at the beginning of the season.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
I
scrimmaged
didn't
them.
remember that.
Yeah. No, we
Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
No,
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.
Thanks for everything, Coach.
Hey, it was a pleasure, guys.
Really
It
appreciate
really
it.
was.
Thank you.
Hey, Daily Nation. Jim Tatum here. Can you believe it's 50 years from our championship season? It's incredible how time flies. Really looking forward to getting together with everybody. Well, when you look back on our season, there's a couple things that stick out in my mind. One of which was chemistry. I thought when you really looked at the junior and senior class, we really came together as a team and blended really, really nicely. I'm not sure what comes first, winning or chemistry, or then chemistry, then winning. But for whatever reason, I felt like our team really had it. It had like a very special feel to it from the very beginning. The other thing was competition. I remember preseason camp, in my mind, it was incredibly intense. Competition at each position had 3 or 4 guys who literally could play at any time. And to earn a right to get on the field was really a real privilege. And the other word that's tossed around now in today's age is culture. We probably didn't understand it back in the 70s, but we did have a culture, and it was a culture of toughness. I didn't think there was any team that we were going to play against was going to be tougher than us. Collectively, with all the personalities on the field and on the team, I just felt like we were so intense and so competitive and so tough that no one was going to beat us. And then finally, coaching. When you really look at it, Coach Snyder really was a phenomenal head coach because he instilled in us discipline, but he also taught us to win with respect and dignity, and he really taught us to be gentlemen. And then Coach Apgar, a real fine tactician and strategist as a coach who really put a lot of thought into how we should play against our competition. And I always thought he put us in the best position to win. And finally, Coach Coach Mulligan. He was, he was the personality coach on our team. He kept us loose, did a phenomenal job of blending the importance of our scout team with his Bagman song and how important it was in preparation. And again, back to this, to the chemistry part of it, I think he enabled us all to blend as a one cohesive unit because either the starter or the scout team, I think everyone on the team really just felt part of it. Can't wait to see everybody on October 22nd. And the 3 games that stick out in my mind are the opening day Syosset, the Port game, and obviously the Burning game. We'll have more chance to talk about that when we get together, but hope everyone makes it and looking forward to getting together. Thank you. So we won that game 6-0.
6-0. Yep.
And I know a lot of the team members, we thought that was like really a critical game, and it kind of set us on the path as we went through. We won that game 6-0.
It was the first game of the year.
First game of the year. All preseason we were preparing for it.
Yep.
You got us mentally ready for the game.
And Coach, I have a little confession to make about that game. I have a confession to make. I don't know if you remember, the head coach called you and pulled you aside and said, "Who wrote on our blocking sled? Dalers in green paint on their sled. You were as hot as can be." Right? Unfortunately, it was us. 5 of us went there the night before, got on their field. We wrote on the door, Dalers. We wrote on their sled. We let them know we were there. And I think they kind of, in the back of their minds, went, uh-oh. We meant business.
They're ready. They're ready.
So I have to confess.
We'd be arrested today.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't admit it today. I would swear I never did that.
where do I begin? I'd like to say hello to everybody out there, Farmingdale Dalers. It's been a pleasure to be involved with all these guys trying to get this video together. George and Will and Jimmy, first of all, thank you very much. I can't wait to see everybody. I have such memories, on and on and on. I'm sure everyone else does. After 40 years in sports television, I've always had a good feeling to brag about where I came from and Nassau County's tradition of football, Farmingdale's tradition of winning football, and other coaches I've talked to, college coaches, high school coaches, always say that Farmingdale, oh yes, they remember Farmingdale. I've been living in Nyack now 22 years, and I've been, for the last 2 years, acting as an unpaid offensive line coach. And the coaches that I work with know where I came from, who I played under, and know, of course, of Coach Don Snyder. And when I brag about trying to bring up Nyack's program to the emotional and physical commitment that everyone else has at Farmingdale, I'm met with, oh, Coach, I can't believe, that much work is involved. And I tell them that's what winning programs are all about. A tradition of kids watching varsity football players and wanting to play on the varsity stadium on Saturdays or Friday nights. We never played Friday nights. I miss that, actually. My love to everybody, and I can't wait to see you on October 22nd.
and go. And what am I supposed to say? I don't
Hey, I'm
remember.
George Carabaris, number 68.
I'm only kidding you. I know to say that. George Carabaris, junior class. As a lineman, well, I think I played guard, tackle, and middle guard. I think that's all I had to say, right? Otherwise, I would have been prepared. You know.
You ready to start over?
Oh no, I got a couple notes. Yeah, do I have to do it over again? And thinking about our reunion. What have I been thinking about? Well, I'll tell you the truth. The things that stand out in my mind are not like games or plays. It's more like events around the reunion and things that happened during that period of time. And as Billy Joel said, we didn't start the fire. I think when you look at Farmingdale, right, we had a long tradition of football, we had coaches, we had a system in place before any of us got to this point of playing for the championship game against Vernon. What you did, though, you needed to get a group of players that wanted to play like a team, not be individuals, and all contribute. And I think that was part of the Farmingdale tradition. We were very lucky as we came in, you know, and the coaches really had a good system. All the teams that preceded us were good teams, but we were fortunate, you know, to put it all together one year. Fortunately, too, we had, 3,000 students to choose from. So, you know, hopefully, you know, with that many students, we'd get enough players. But going back to my point about, let's say, remembering things distinct, I can recall my junior year running right here on those bleachers during the summer in anticipation of doubles. And by the way, it is hot as hell today, and it feels like we're at doubles. And running in the bleachers, and during that time, my junior year, I wanted to date this girl who was close with Mac DeAnge's girlfriend, Janice Marr. And I remember having this long conversation with Mac to get me introduced. And the one thing that still resonates with me is that he said, George, whatever happens, if she doesn't go out with you, you know, you can't let the season go by. You got to be prepared for the season. And I think that was kind of an indication of what Farmingdale football was all about. The other thing I would bring up is that the Friday predictions, right, in Newsday, where on Fridays before the games, we would go and see who was Newsday predicting to win. And Mac and I would leave school around lunchtime, and we get the ingredients for a victory punch. Now, again, probably that wasn't the best thing, but I think it did motivate us. You know, we were thinking, well, we're going to spend all this money on punch and booze, and we're going to have a party. We better win so that we could all celebrate. Finally, I would say that, you know, again, just kind of things that happened during that period of time. I certainly enjoyed those picnics we would have with the Leaders Club, where we had an opportunity to play against the coaches and the teachers. Those were great, and of course the parade down Main Street. All of this obviously would not happen without, you know, the coaches, the players, the cheerleaders, the community, everybody coming together. And I would like to, even though this is going a little long, I would like to read one thing that I think will also resonate with everybody relative to the season. And this was what we received as players prior to the Burner game. And I'm going to read this. This is what the coaches wrote us. Everything that we hoped for and prayed for at the beginning of the season is suddenly upon us. What we've worked so hard for has been rewarded. You have achieved what no other Farmingdale High School team has. You've created an air of excitement and pride in the community and that it has never experienced before. Your next achievements have got to be one of the most memorable in your lifetime. The tasks that confront you tomorrow is probably the greatest challenge of the season for many, many reasons, too many to list. And basically, despite all this, it ends with pursue, block, tackle, execute, discipline, second effort, all basics of a champion. Good luck, Coach Snyder, Coach Mulligan, Coach Apthor. And I think, again, when you think back now, 50 years, all of that is so true in terms of the time period, what was going on with the community, what was going on with the team. And again, we were very fortunate as a team to put it all together and to win it all, like no other Farmingdale team had done before that. I would just conclude with a few things in terms of thinking about the impact Farmingdale football has had on my life. Too numerous to even think about, but I would say again that when I look back, met my wife here, and you know, have a long marriage and grandkids, and and my own kids. Great friends, still, super friends with Mac DeAnge, Joe Patrovich, Kathy, Jimmy Tatum, and Barbara Tatum. And just again, a lifetime of remembrances that just, live on, and can't wait to see everybody at the 50th in October. Thanks.
Billy, thank you for this opportunity for me to share my experiences with the 1971 New York State Nassau County Champions. I loved every aspect of our team. We worked hard, the coaching was great, we weren't that big, but we were fast and we were tough. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I wish I could go back to those days, but I know I can't. I love all you guys and I can't wait to see you all later.
Okay, I'm Bill Barrett, offensive guard, number 62. Can't believe it's 50 years. These guys all look great. But I gotta tell you a couple things I remember. I hated the Oklahoma drill in August. And then I remember Richie Finn tightening us up on goal line defense at Wantor, last scrimmage before Syosset. And the goal line defense did pretty good in that Syosset game and also the end Burner game. Great times. One of the things that really surprised me is the first game that I had as varsity against Syosset. All the seniors were there. Every senior was there. Not a sound other than lockers opening and closing. And I still remember that, and I'll remember that to my dying day. Great times, great people. Huck Finn playing Superman. I remember how confident we were. I don't know why we were confident, because we didn't do anything in that game offensively against Port Washington. Losing 6-0 going into the fourth quarter. But in the huddle, we knew we were going to do it, and we did, 20-6. 50 years later, I still remember the score. Great time, great guys. It was just a fantastic time. Couldn't ask for better guys to play with. Thanks. Be good.
attendance.
Yeah, he also up in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
And he's the one
So
that-
they want to send you back to Baldwin for a year.
So do you think they'll end up
Probably the worst move I ever made.
Who did you work with? Steve Shipper.
now
Steve,
he's
right?
still living
Great
here.
guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. Miserable
But we
guy.
meet halfway.
What do you mean by that?
all the
He was
time.
always miserable. Like
Yeah.
never smiled.
Took
with
15
kids?
minutes to get there and an hour and a half to get
Kids
there.
half an hour
Yeah, I
from
see.
Brown.
So, Coach, how many, when you said 43 and 0, over what, is that like 5 years?
You know,
They were all 8-0 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Then I went back to coaching. I went to Great Neck Middle School.
So you never came back to Farmingdale football? Ever?
My first job was at Plainview. St. Mary's. I was 6-0 my first year.
And one's doing all the
Next year,
work. She sounds like she's got married. Giant kids. Nice to
Oh, you got, that's a winning combination.
Go.
My name is John Bates. I played football as a junior with the 1971 team. My number was 64. I was a backup lineman and I was on all special teams. It was a great season. We were 9-0, and the following year we were 9-0. One thing about Farmingdale football, it helped me a lot in life because it always made me want to go as far as I could go, whether it be in the workforce or in football. Great memories. Never to lose a game in high school is something most people can't say. Thank you, and go Dalers.
Hey, how are you? Joe Patrovich. Again, glad to be here, man. I was a linebacker and guard on this team. Again, the fact that we are here for 50 years, my God, I didn't want to come because it's going to be 50 years. That being said, I'm really happy to be here. Look, I've been in athletics my whole life. I'm still coaching, whatever. The reality is, this is a different place, man. Farmingdale is different, and I've been, like I said, different places, but nothing is like Farmingdale. The fact that the coaches are still around, we can still see those guys. You know, what Buddy has done after Don Snyder, you know, Irv, Mull, again, one of the great people ever. But this is an awesome opportunity for all of us to get together and rehash the past. Okay, like I said, I'm not crazy about pictures or reunions, but that being said, I'm happy to be here. So again, thanks, good to see you guys, and we'll see you in a couple of days, a couple of weeks.
Hey, Dalers. On behalf of the steering committee, Elliot, Gary, Will, George, and myself, wanted to take 5 minutes and just recognize some of our team members who are no longer with us, and also Coach Mull. Jerome, Richie Finn, Tommy Regan, Peter Sophia, and Johnny Ryan are all passed. I think it's important that as the 50-year reunion rolls around, that we understand how lucky all of us are to still be here and to get to enjoy our time together coming October 22nd. I think we'd all agree that Jerome was one of the best players on the team. I think he made us a complete legitimate threat every time we stepped on the field with him, who could score from anywhere. Just an unbelievable athlete. I think anybody who played football with him or against him realized, I think he actually ran faster sideways than he did forward. It was incredible how his change of direction was. A real great athlete, and kind of personifies the success our team had. A lot of it was due to him. In addition, Tommy Regan, I think when you think of the Regan name, it is synonymous with Farmingdale football. The whole family was involved with the Hawks, And I think it also goes without saying, Tommy working at the dairy barn, all of us passed through there at some point in time. Just a family name that's iconic with Hawk and Farmingdale High School football. I think Peter Sophia was the original man-child from Howard, who played with his son on that team, and I think he was a very soft-spoken gentleman, but at the same time, a good teammate. Also, Johnny Ryan. As we all know, the Ryan family has got a legacy name in Farmingdale High School football history. Between Joe Ryan, Jimmy Ryan, and Nicky Ryan, that family has a legacy of rich Farmingdale football. In addition, the final teammate is Richie Finn. I think Richie Finn was the original tough guy on our team. He is a running back and a linebacker. He really personified what Farmingdale was all about at that time. Probably a little undersized, but at that time was just a tremendous heart and an absolutely tough player. Well, again, just want to make sure we recognize all the players. And finally, also Coach Mull, who's no longer with us, but we all know that he was an absolute joy to have around our team all the time and kept us in stitches. All right, so take a moment and say a little prayer for our teammates and coaches, and we'll see you on October 22nd. Thanks.
Hello, fellow Dalers from the 1971 championship football team. It's Billy DeRoof here, number 19, flanker, defensive back. Boy, so many things to look back on 50 years ago. That was a special season, a special time. I had the luxury, though, over the last month or so to hear everyone's tributes and meeting us at the high school, hearing kind of their memories and what they had to do. But I'll start with Coach Snyder. I'll use words he shared with Gary. And you know, him and I go back to grade school. It all starts with the players. And man, is he so right, the players. Jimmy mentioned culture in his tribute. And I'm going to add to that brotherhood. We had a brotherhood that, I'll be honest, I've never had with another team after that. And some of us played a few more years or longer after high school, or maybe even before that. But this particular brotherhood was pretty special. And some of those guys, I still go, well, we actually started in grade school and we're still going strong today. It's like 55 years. Nevertheless, brotherhood. We had confidence. And when you have that brotherhood, it translates to trust on the football field. We all trusted each other. We had the confidence each week, I believe, to take on any team that put in front of us. We were always a little tired and nervous because we took it real serious. And of course, we have to thank our coaches for that. Coach Snyder, Coach Apcar. To me, they were kind of very serious, very structured. We needed that. Some of that they modeled for us all the time, and that modeling goes, and some of it followed me even to today on some of the teams that I've coached. I've been coaching for 30 years football myself right now. And Mac, Huck, and I, we couldn't have had a better coach than Coach Mulligan as a receiver coach. Man, he built us up. He built everyone up. But when you were a senior and it was your time to be with him, he built us up like crazy. And if something went down, he was the first one to put his arm around us. And then when we really needed it, that was important, and just a hell of a guy. Great memories. Don't want to get into a lot of personal stuff because sometimes that's the kind of things you remember. But I will say one thing. I had some touchdowns, and every time I got one, it was thrown from my best friend back then and today, Gary. And we still celebrate that stuff because that was kind of awesome. Have a friend from grade school into today, and you had such great memories back on the football field. That was pretty awesome. Matter of fact, several years ago, we went to Murr's Pub for a function for Coach Snyder. I think he was turning 93. And Gary and Elliot and I, we went. And, of course, who do we bump into? But Jimmy, George, and Joe. And we see John there. And next thing you know, we're all excited and we're seeing each other. But we all had to go home. I mean, I lived a couple hours away. But when we got back, Elliot and Gary and I were, hey man, wouldn't that be great? We have 50 years coming up. What do you think we can do about that? And I don't know how. I think it was like last year or maybe the beginning of this year. I gave Jimmy Tatum a call, and the dominoes kept falling. We put a nice planning team together, and it's been an 8-month journey. We've had so many conversations, and some people I haven't spoke to or text or email in over 50 years, and man, that's been kind of special. I'll take that all in. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the 50th reunion, getting together with your Daler brothers and sisters. Like I said, it's a brotherhood. But there's just one more thing I have to do. Hey Dalers, good move to roof here. I scored 5 times my senior year, but not once. Did I ever get to do something I'm going to do right now twice on this field? Let's hope I can catch it.